It's your boy DJ Flow, Davey J the Virgo,
Quicksilver, Lil Black,
Cisco. I'm rocking with Working Title Podcast.
Working Title Podcast.
Working Title Podcast.
Working Title, you know what it is.
It's the hardest shit ever.
White bitches for the winter. I smoked an ounce of marijuana with my niggas. Pockets filled with dollar bills, now I'm richer. I hope Jesus grabbed the wheel and his liquor. I'm about to let this bitch go.
Working Title Podcast, man. This is After Work, Season 4, Episode 2. It's your boy Shwaze Collins, a.k.a. Splash Collins. I'm not going to say all my alter egos today. This is my first interview for the After Work series, so it's going to be a special one. We have an OG in the Baltimore music scene, also the creator of Liquor and Friends podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Rickie Jacobs.
What's up? It's your man Rickie Jacobs, a.k.a. Ricky Alexander Jacobs Jr., BKA Air Jacobs on Instagram. What's up? What's up, world?
All right, so first things first, you welcome a new one into the world. Congrats on that.
I appreciate it, bro.
Do you feel like with this being your second child, is it like, do you feel more prepared, like more ready in a sense?
Way more prepared. I mean, like, as you know, like, you are a new father, and a lot of things that you're going to experience is really going to be like improvised experiences. Like, you don't know shit about parenting. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I didn't know shit about parenting. So a lot of being a new father is just about trial and error. So I think the benefits of that, like all the things that I learned, I unlearned, and then now what I do know, I can implement it into this new experience in becoming a new father. So I'm really excited about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to teach my new child like the same principles that I teach my son. You know, fuck him. That's what I say. You know what I mean? Like, when you be like, you're gonna experience it too. Like, your son is gonna come to you and, like, you know, my friend don't want to play with me. He was being mean.
Mm-hmm.
I just say fuck him, because you know what I mean. Like, anybody that don't want to play with you aren't your friends and shit like that. So I'm just trying to balance that and implement emotional intelligence too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge, bro, because I mean, I had my son when I was 24 going on 25, so I was kind of pretty much trying to figure out who I was as a person, you know, as a man. And I'm still trying to, at 34, I'm still trying to figure that shit out. You know what I mean? But the easiest way to deal with issues is just to say fuck them. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah.
Got to implement that in my son. So like I said, you're an OG, a legend in the Baltimore music scene. In my words, I
appreciate that. I'm kind of airy about that term, like OG, because I don't think we have any OGs. Like, it's nobody in Baltimore who pretty much kind of like personally gave anybody the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
And from my, you know, in my opinion, like, that's what an OG does, is like they give you the game. Like, you can learn from people experiences and shit like that, but if they not giving it to you from a, like, you know, a teachable moment aspect, then it's like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really, I don't really consider a OG. I mean, but you know, me and you had that
yeah, that's why in my
relationship,
words,
you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. But it ain't no OGs as far as I'm concerned. Just niggas, just like, it ain't no different from seeing a crackhead who used to sell drugs and they on crack and you just like, oh, I don't want to be like this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just learning from somebody's mistakes and trials and tribulations and shit like that.
Well, I feel like I wouldn't be where I am musically if it wasn't for you. So that's why I feel like you're an OG to me.
I appreciate
so
that
like,
shit.
What really drove you into like venture off into music?
I always was making music. like ever since a child, bro. Like it's memories that my sisters kind of refresh with me as far as like how in tune like I was into music. Like I think like they said the first song that I recited word for word was Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? And that was like back in like the late 80s and shit. I ain't really trying to say my age or whatever, but it was like the late 80s. I might say it might have been 89, you know what I'm saying? I was like 3 around that time, maybe 1990 or something like that. But and then like the first album I ever heard was Dougie Style and Wu-Tang Into the 36 Chambers. And then what really kind of like gave me that inspiration to make me believe like this shit was actually possible was like Notorious B.I.G. and Puff Daddy, like their videos. Shout out to like Hype Williams. He's was like, you know, a very prominent director in the early 90s. Pretty much if you ain't get a video from Hype Williams, you pretty much was like bottom tier or whatever. But it was Hype Williams videos and Puff Daddy and shit like that. Like I mean, you see all these colors and shit like that, and those type of things for me visually appealed to me a lot. And low key, I seen an In Vogue video. I think it was Hold On to Your Love, and them bitches was like real sexy to me. You know what I'm saying? And it was very enticing watching them and shit do what they do. And I used to and yo, it's so many layers as far as how I got into music. Cause like when I was in school, me and my friend Joseph, my best friend in elementary school, we used to just like remix original records like that we heard and shit like that, and write about the teachers and shit like that. Just making jokes and shit. And from that, like I felt like I really had some type of talent as far as creativity goes. You know what I'm saying? Middle school, on a PlayStation, they had a game called the MTV Music Generator. T.I. probably know about that, and Dewey probably know about that. You can make beats on the game and shit. So I started making beats, like for real, before I was really actively rapping, I was making beats.
I ain't even know that.
Yeah, I was making beats. That's why I'm so picky as far as picking the beats, bro. Like, cause I know how to make beats. I literally still know how to make beats. Like, so, me and my friend in middle school, we was rapping, but he was a better rapper than me, in my opinion. So, and he made beats. So I kind of took a back seat and just made beats and shit with him. We used to collab on beats and all that shit. High school, I was still making beats. I met a kid named Zach. He went to private school, and he went to Park. Park was like the only high school with private school that had a motherfucking studio, right? So he was really intricate, like as far as, not intricate, that's the wrong word, but he was really like knowledgeable as far as how to get the beats from the PlayStation and getting into his computer. So he knew how to rip the beats and shit like that and get to the get it on the computer and burn it and stuff like that. So we used to record. That's when I started rapping again. Because once I realized, you know,
He could take it off the PlayStation.
He could take it off the PlayStation and I can actually record my voice. I was like, well, shit, I might as well start like taking this shit a tad bit serious. So, you know, I used to make beats. He used to make beats as well. We used to record, and it was like the wackest shit ever, right? But at that time, like, we talking about 2000, 2001. Like, it wasn't a lot of kids in high school with studios, or much less had access to in-home studios and shit like that. So that's where the whole concept of me doing shit at home come from. Like, I don't really fuck with like
you don't even go to the
people's
actual
studios,
studio.
having studio time and shit like that, because it all started in my homeboy apartment. So between 2000 2004, we was just putting out CDs, bro. We just passing them out and shit like that, and people was kind of sort of, well, we think they was fucking with us for real. It felt like they was fucking with us. Ain't nobody say the shit was whack. But in hindsight, years from now, looking back, you know, as an artist, you look It's just you listen to your shit and just be
Like-
like, damn, nigga, I was whack as a bitch. But you just had that confidence, you feel me, that drove you. All right. I kind of stopped making music when I graduated in 2004. So between 2004 and 2007, that same homeboy Zach, who was a pretty dope rapper around that time, he was kind of sort of hot in the city. And I'm talking about like the fucking 5 Seasons days and shit like that. Like it was a nightclub called the 5 Seasons where artists showcased their talent and shit like that. And they had battles there every last Thursday of the month. And I used to go there. That's actually how I know DDM, because DDM used to go to these same battles and fuck niggas up and shit like that. So it was not that many rappers around that time, but the rappers that I looked up to that from here that made me actually come back. So it's kind of like I started and I quit and I started and I quit. It's like different phases of me wanting to rap, and then
So you feel like MJ? Feel like MJ retiring and coming back?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. But much whacker than that. But when I was going to the 5 Seasons and actually seeing these artists like perform with impunity and confidence, it made me feel like, okay, I can do this shit, but I wasn't necessarily ready yet.
Right.
So it was these rappers by the name, let's say, but in between that was 2005. You know, I might be fucking up the chronological order, but it's all gonna make sense. 2005, my homeboy Amadi, he went to Morgan State University around that time. And around that time, Scar Akbar and Los, they was rapping, they was really fucking the city up. And they had a conglomerate called Triangle Offense, and they was putting out mixtapes and shit like that. And I never seen no shit like that, bro. The only rappers that I knew was just like celebrities to me. Like I said, we go back to Snoop Dogg, we go back to Wu-Tang, we go back to Puff Daddy and Notorious B.I.G. We can even fast forward to Busta Rhymes, Lauryn Hill, DMX, and Jay-Z. These were the only rappers that I knew, right? So when I seen niggas like Scar Akbar and Los putting out records and freestyling outside of Morgan State University, battling niggas, any nigga that wanted a battle, any nigga could have got it. They battled them niggas. They were freestyling. It did not fucking matter, bro. They were freestyle from sun up to sundown, my nigga. And I seen that shit firsthand. It was just like, yo, I can do this shit. Right?
Right.
Fast forward a little bit more. Boss Man comes out. And, you know, this, for me, this was my first time actually, no, it's an artist by the name of Clayway. Clayway put out records in the city too. I don't know what part of, I don't know if he was from West Baltimore or East Baltimore, but all I know is that that nigga had his CD sold at Metro 2. And that was a record store. It was one in the Ricerstown Road Plaza, and there was one in Security Square Mall. And he was the only nigga, from my knowledge and my personal direct experience, who had his own CD with a barcode. Cause that was some other shit. Like, it's so many motherfucking phases of hip hop or just independent businesses as far as like putting music out. So he had a barcode on the shit, had his motherfucking CDs on the shelves, and I'm talking about next to niggas like DMX, Jay-Z, Lauryn Hill, the list goes on. And this nigga is from my city.
And being able to do that.
That was very inspirational. And there was another rapper by the name of Bomb. I'm talking about OGs, like, not my OGs, but OGs, and I feel like niggas should really do their homework on niggas like Scar Akbar, Bomb, Clayway. Here's another story. An artist by the name of Comp. He's from West Baltimore. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That nigga had got signed to Def Jam by way of Kevin Lowes. And in the midst of that, this nigga was on Def Jam Vendetta, a whole fucking video game. He ain't had no big record or nothing like that. All these things that were just happening before my eyes, you know what I mean? At this time, I'm a little nigga, like trying to figure out like what I wanted to do creatively. all these things that are happening in my city, and I'm not saying like this was like, it wasn't big as far as the whole world knew who they were,
Right.
but I knew who they were, and they were big to me. And to this day, like, I tell Scar, you know, me and him got like a little sort of relationship now. I tell him all the time, like, yo, if it wasn't for you, I don't know where I would be. Like, I feel like those niggas who pretty much, they set the tone for Baltimore hip hop, and they laid the blueprint for me. And I don't know, if it wasn't for them, especially Scar, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even be here talking to you right now. So that shit is very, very it's very, very vital to me. You know what I'm saying? As far as, and even with my development as an artist, that shit was very important. That shit gave me the craziest motivation in the world. Fast forward, my mom passed away in 2008, right? And me and my mother, we was super close. Like, she was like my biggest fan. Like, I know that's like a cliche thing to say, but she was literally my biggest fan. I'm talking about, like, we lived in an apartment, and I'm talking about when I recorded with me and my buddies, like, we would have the music blasting. My father was the one that was kind of hating a little bit, but my mother would let me blast the music because she understood the vision, and that shit was very, very important to me. You know what I'm saying? She was very instrumental into, like, as far as my confidence and the drive I had. So when she passed away, that shit kind of derailed me a little bit. But at the same time, that shit really sparked a fire in me that I didn't even know that I had. You feel what I'm saying? So when she passed, my nigga, like, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I turned the fuck up. I turned up. Like, who the fuck? Everybody gonna hear these songs. I don't give a fuck. So the same friend I was telling you about, Zach, who showed me how to rip beats and record music, he had a crazy ass email list, right? One random day he came over my house. He wanted to send an email blast. That's what niggas used to do back in the day. We had email blasts and shit. So he did an email blast from his email account. He left the crib, but the nigga never signed out.
Right.
He never signed out his email account. All these contacts is just right in front of me, and I'm talking about this nigga had contacts, so like direct contacts with like Two Dope Boys, On Smash, You Heard That New, The Source,
Crazy
SL,
Blog Era,
Complex Magazine, Whoop De Whoop, the list goes on, right? And I'm talking about this nigga has emails that aren't even in the contacts on the websites. Cause that nigga, like, he networked. Like, he taught me how to network and shit, like, without actually being face to face and shit like that. So he left. Nigga, I downloaded that CSV with it. I know you know, Justin, you pretty smart. It's a file. It's an email file where it pretty much has all the email contacts in this file. You don't have to copy and paste or whatever, but you can download every contact that you save in an email account, and it downloads as a CSV file or some shit like that. I don't really remember. This nigga just pointed. Nah, but so from that point, nigga, I started recording music heavy and started sending emails, like email blasts to these same emails and shit. And a lot of people would hit me back like, don't ever send me don't send me this bullshit again. Right? But I didn't really let that discourage me or anything like that. I just kept sending emails until that shit just caught wind. So one of the out of those emails, I'm sorry, I'm talking.
Nah, you good.
All right, cool. One of those emails was a guy by the name of Buck Marley, and he had a website called buckmarleytriplets.com. And at that time, at that time, the website was pretty big, you know what I'm saying? He actually was featured in the XXL magazine for like the top 20 blogs and shit. This is the blog era. So he turned into like my PR, for lack of a better term. And he started actually sending emails for me. And from that point, he got me on like Two Dope Boys, XXL, The Source. If it wasn't for Buck, I wouldn't have got I actually, like, the Source had sponsored one of my EPs and shit like that. So in the midst of all that shit, you feel me? Like, shit was just going crazy, bro. And mind you, I'm like 24, 25 years old, my nigga. Like, with all this attention, and here I am, just a kid from West Baltimore who I didn't really, none of this shit was planned. None of this shit was designed. All these things that just kind of happened based off my circumstances of just me just wanting to just put music and shit out there and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I remember those times. Crazy times. So, like, how did all that connect you to Wayno becoming your manager?
So with Wayno, right? Wayno was somebody that I always kind of admire from afar. And one thing about me, I always, like, anybody that I approach that I want to be on my team, because my thing is, like, I don't really trust too many people with my career. Because when you think about your career, when you think about your artistry, your craft, everything that's associated with it, that's who you are. What else you know how to do? I mean, I'm sure you know how to play basketball, but other than that, do you have any vocational skills, professional skills? No. Only thing you know how to do is rap. That's really who you are. That's who made, that really is your, I guess, the synopsis of, like, you as a person. So when I look into anybody that I feel as though I want to be a part of my team, I look at it like, yo, I need you a part of my life. So I did research on Wayno, and of course, you know, Wayno was an intern for Rockefeller. Wayno eventually went from intern and transitioned into being an A&R for state property. And I'm doing all this research on Wayno, and I'm like, yeah, this the nigga that I want a part of what I got going on. Because can't nobody here or anybody else take me to the level that I'm trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very peculiar, like, situation with that. So, you know, I followed him on Twitter. This is early Twitter. Might have been like 2012, 2013. And I hit, with me having the intentions of him wanting, like, to be my manager, of me wanting him to be my manager, the way I approached him was like, yo, are you looking for anybody who are trying to manage new artists? Here's the thing, like, sometimes when you approach if you have a goal that you want to achieve, the best thing is not to be as direct as you want to be, because nobody likes to be force-fed anything. You know, no matter how talented you think you are, you don't want to force yourself on anybody, because you have to kind of consider what the other person may have going on their end. You know what I mean?
Right.
Niggas could be having a bad day. Niggas trying to balance business and personal shit. So my thing, like, I always try to consider those things, and those I don't know. I just have a different level of empathy that kept me in a safe space, that granted me all these blessings, right? So with that being said, again, I hit him up like, yo, do you know, I'm an artist from Baltimore, whoop-de-whoop. I got some shit to say. Do you know anybody who's looking for artists to manage that's not from New York? Because Wayne was from Harlem. So he was like, nah, but send me a link. I just want to check your shit out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much how the conversation went. I'm just, you know, I don't know, but send me some shit. So I sent him a 2 Dope Boy link, because at that time, 2 Dope Boy was one of the biggest blogs in that period of time. So him seeing that I was on 2 Dope Boys pretty much kind of raised his antennas. I would assume it did. And he checked it out, and it was a song about my son. So he listened to it. He hit me back a couple days later and was just like, yo, I fuck with this shit, yo. And he was just like, yo, I really resonate with this because, you know, I'm a single father. Well, I'm a father. I don't think he would say he was a single father, but anywho, he said, I'm a father. You know, I got a small, you know, a young child, and everything that you said is like the shit that I be thinking about internally. You know what I'm saying? We just and we just bonded from there. You feel what I'm saying? So he from that point he was just like, yo, just keep sending me shit. So I kept sending him shit, and everything that I kept sending him was just like fire, bro. So I think I just kind of lit a fire under him. Like I guess he just felt like, yo, this is different. It's not a nigga from New York. He could do something with it. So he hit me back like a couple weeks later and was like, yo, do you have a project that you're working on? At that time, I was working on songs for high school kids. It was already done. So I told him, like, yeah, I got this project. I'm about to drop it in like 2 weeks. He was like, all right, cool. Just drop that shit. When you drop it, we going to just work on some shit. But I'm not saying that I'm your manager. I just want to help you out. That right there was enough for me, because this is Wayno. Right. This is Wayno before Everyday Struggle. You know what I'm saying? So I still kind of looked at him like, nigga, this is still Wayno. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this nigga has Rockefeller ties. He has experience. So he knows anything and everything about the music industry. So a couple weeks after that, I kept sending him shit I was working on for the project that me and him was kind of like curating. So I guess the shit that I was sending him, he was really fucking with. So he was just like, yo, you know what, man? Fuck that shit, man. I'm your manager. It's just that's just what it is. So in my mind, in my heart,
you that nigga.
Like, yes. That's what basically. That was my objective the entire time. And it worked. And somebody as smart as Wayno, I kind of manipulated that situation. And the thing about manipulation, like, that's just a regular human trait. Like, manipulation ain't nothing but like, it's a survival tactic. It doesn't mean like you trying to take advantage of somebody personally, but sometimes the universe doesn't always give you everything, but it has certain resources. It has, you can pull information from different sources and kind of twang it in a way where all that shit works for you. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. And I just kind of think that's just the baseline of just how everything works, like the country. Like, everything is based off of pulling from different resources and then making it your own. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, we can just kind of talk about, not to take it a thought deeper, but let's just talk about like colonists and shit. Or when they came to America, it was already people here. And they did what they did with it, killed a bunch of Native Americans, brought Africans over, wrote different legislations and shit, made different rules. And the whole entire, like this is an atmosphere that you didn't even create. Like, God created this shit, my nigga. So just on a smaller scale, why can't I do the same? That's the same shit I do. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take advantage of my surroundings. You know what I'm saying? But in fairness, like, I always hold on to the integrity of what I do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And he definitely connected you to a lot of different things, like the Reebok commercial.
Yo. Let me tell you some shit, my nigga. It was so much shit that I could have done, but again, everything about like our relationship we wanted to do in a organic like pace. I could have got a deal with Mass Appeal the fucking the month after me and Wayno hooked up, but he's just like, yo, it don't make no sense. And here's the thing that a lot of artists can learn from. Like, you can take a deal, you can sign some paperwork and be like, all right, I'm signing whoop-de-whoop, but you don't have nothing to bring to the table. So you're just going to sit until you have something to, they feel like you're profitable until they until they feel like you have something to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas get these deals and bless you. And they get ego driven and shit like that, just based off that black and white.
Yep.
And I just be on the sideline looking at it like, yo, this is not the way to be, because, you know, God give, God take away. And, you know, life is a feeling thing. Like, it's about how you feel. But not even just that. It's people who can give you these opportunities, and it's also people that can take these opportunities away. So if they not feeling your energy, you're not gonna get through these doors. So I really feel like being humble and shit through everything you go through, whether you top tier, C class, D class, B class, is very important to do everything with some level of humility. Meaning like knowing that nigga, all this shit can just end. All this shit can just stop. You feel what I'm saying? No matter how high you on a horse you feel, or how high on a level you feel that you are, this shit can stop, my nigga. If you, and I always use like Jaquan as a perfect example. This nigga had a deal too. He had 2 top Billboard records, Tipsy and Hood Hop. Now, if you created Hood Hop and Tipsy, you'll be dragging your nuts too, right?
Yeah.
You would feel like at 24, 25 years old, you're on top of the world. But niggas don't ever do the research or use other niggas' testimonies as a blueprint to kind of implement in their own like upcoming and shit like that. It's just very important to just be human in humane society. No matter if you got a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. Wayno could have got me a deal with $300. Wayno had a meeting with Leo Cohen about me to sign to $300, because what at that time what $300 was trying to do, they was trying to sign different artists from different areas, right? Different areas to kind of be like that rapper of this particular area. And at that time, I was one of them. But even with that, Wayno was just like, yo, just keep working, because what's going to happen is if you take that deal, they might promote your mixtape and shit like that, or promote a single or two. But if that shit don't perform, you're just going to be sitting. You're just going to be a nigga on a fucking website, living at your mom's house or living in a 2-bedroom apartment, barely paying your rent, barely making ends meet. But here you are on this particular website, on this blog, and it look good. I'd rather be good than look good. You feel what I'm saying? That's the most like important thing that I learned from Wayno. Like, it ain't about looking good. You gotta be good. When you are actually good, you're gonna feel good, and then everything else is gonna follow after that. So yeah.
So
if I answer that question.
Yeah, so like you saying, in your music area or era, I should say, it wasn't really a lot of people here and there, but now in the new Baltimore scene, you got a whole bunch of different acts and stuff. Are you liking what you seeing?
I love what I see. I love what I see, my nigga, because every nigga that I see, I think is a product of something. I just don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is, but it's a product of something. And even if I have a conversation with, I don't know, Chris Cash or some shit like that, like he said like, yo nigga, I've been following you, and I wouldn't even have no clue. But that's just like, I never approached anybody or had that expectation to think that you should know who I am because I did X, Y, and Z. No, that's not the attitude you should have. Like, you should always just be, you should be appreciative. You should be grounded in your shit, my nigga. Like, it's very important, my nigga, because I don't know. Sometimes I believe in karma, sometimes I don't, but energy is the most like inevitable thing about life. Like, what you like, as they say, you get back what you put in. So I think in my come up, I feel like I genuinely put out a decent amount of good that I'm getting all this shit back in tenfold within my rebrand and shit like that. Yeah.
Anybody else you really got your eye on in particular?
I got my eye on everybody, to be honest. Who do I really believe is going to take this shit to the next level if we do what we supposed to do is, and I'm talking about we as media, is Miss Cam. Miss Cam and Butch Dawson. But the thing about Butch that I love so much, and Cam, is that they're a product of the I guess the DIY era, because this is the era, like the DIY, which is do it yourself. This is what we're like experiencing right now, and I feel like I came from that cult. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because I did a lot of shit myself, but it was like the timing too. That's another thing. Like, you can put the greatest shit out in the world, my nigga, but if the attention isn't set on maybe your area, then you might just put out the best kept secret. And there's a lot of niggas that put out a lot of best kept secrets. I feel like I was one of them. You know what I'm saying? To put out something that was dope. I took my time. I feel like I spent a lifetime to create and produce this product, and it got the love, but it didn't meet the expectations that I set for it. That's going to happen a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, definitely Butch and Miss Cam. I'm probably forgetting people because I'm a little,
Definitely two really great artists. So kind of going in a chronological order, like you kind of taking a step back from making music. Nowadays, you're doing the Liquor and Friends podcast.
Yes.
Now, how did that, like, did you come up with the idea for?
So that idea, right? And this is a crazy testament to what I was saying as far as kind of pulling from your surroundings and circumstances. I started that shit in 2019, and my agenda was not even what it is right now. It was called Liquor with Friends for a reason. I was just going to do a podcast and just have like my niggas on there. We was going to talk and bullshit and talk about different topics and shit like that. And I gave it a test run October 2019 with my homeboy. Shout out to Shells. That episode was horrible because, for one, as you can see, I got a mouthpiece on me. Like, I could talk for hours about a bunch of different shit. Him, not so much. And he was so fucking like inebriated that I didn't really get much out of him. So I'm like, yeah, so what you think about whoop whoop whoop? He like, you feel me? And that's pretty much the bulk of the episode. And then with the shit I was going through personally, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a pause on this shit and go back to it, because I really believed that like the name itself would be a dope thing. Like it like I felt like it was gonna be something that was bigger than me. So fast forward, and I'm bad with months and shit like that. But I was tweeting because I wanted to relaunch the podcast. So this year I was just tweeting about relaunching the podcast and shit. And it was never my intentions to interview artists, because I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't really be fucking with rappers like that because of rapper mentality. Again, like, a lot of niggas catch wind and they catch buzz, and they are susceptible to the buzz that they think they have, but they really don't actually have it. And here's the true testament to this, right? And it's not a shot at nobody, but I did an episode with DDM. That nigga got like 500 views in like 10, 12 hours. These views ain't got shit to do with me, right? They don't have nothing to do with me. It's kind of more so a reflection of the artists and where their fan base is at, and so on and so forth. Because here's the thing, if a nigga fuck with Shwaze Collin, right, no matter what you do, my nigga, you could be like, yeah, yo, I'm about to take a shit. All your fans gonna watch you take a shit. I'm sorry for that analogy, but I'm just saying, you can just be like, yo, I'm about to eat a cup of noodles, and every Shwaze Collin fan be like, yo, I haven't had a cup of noodles in 5 years. Matter of fact, I'm about to eat a cup of noodles right now, right? I'm just saying, this is the thing that cult fans do. So if I interview you and you get 30 views, I'm going to push it as hard as I push it. But if you get 30 views, that ain't my fault. That's not my fault. I'm a building brand as far as the Liquor with Friends platform. But if you brought your fans, if you really have fans, they'll come over. So I feel like with me, because I don't manipulate numbers and shit like that, that is the most accurate reflection of where you're at as an artist based on the views you got.
Right.
DDM got like 400 or 500 views in 12 hours, my nigga. So that really kind of like, I kind of looked at shit differently. But then some of the same artists, you go on their personal YouTubes, they might have 20,000 views on like a video. You should get the same amount of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's a whole nother era that niggas skipped over. The men lie, women lie shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
The men lie, women lie, numbers don't era. That's a bunch of bullshit. You can buy views and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy followers. There's a lot of niggas on Twitter that's talking to themselves.
Right.
Because they don't have no followers and shit like that. I never really was about that strategy. It looks good to labels and shit like that. And that's what the labels want to see. But eventually, again, when it's time to produce things for the label that the label pretty much have their hands on, they're going to see like, nigga, you really wasn't projecting these numbers in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And you back at square one. So it's really important to build. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to build. It's okay to fuck up. It's okay to fail, man. My nigga, that's a part of human nature. That's human nature. You ain't the first nigga that's going to fail in the entire world. But niggas don't want to fail in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's not regular shit. That's not regular shit, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm going on a tangent. But yeah, anyway, with the liquor with brand shit, like my whole agenda with that was the media outlets that were around when I was coming up. I don't think they went hard as far as pushing the artists. You feel what I'm saying? I don't think them niggas genuinely believed in the artist. They looked at it like, the nigga look like he buzzing. Let me interview this nigga.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, my nigga. You can just be dope. Like, you can really just be dope. You know what I'm saying? And
as long as what they doing catches your attention,
it's that's really just it. Because I feel like I don't have a big following, my nigga. Matter of fact, the Instagram page I got is a new Instagram page. So I'm trying to rebuild my Instagram and get my followers up. But I feel like, again, social media is such a fundamentally flawed platform, which means you can have 3,000 followers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can post a picture. You might just get like 60 likes. Me, with my measly 700 now, I post a picture and I might get 110 likes. There's no reason why a nigga with 700 followers get more likes than a nigga with 3,000. You should just get 100 likes just by accident.
In like 5 minutes.
And it's just like 5 minutes. That's what I'm saying. But people are kind of living in a perception, like illusion type thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they are kind of like lost into. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, like, yo, I just like I see shit for what it is, my nigga. You know me, like,
Mm-hmm.
I call the shit like the fuck I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so anytime when a nigga is carrying himself a certain way, I'm calling bullshit every single fucking time, because I live like a human being. I live through mistakes. I try to be perfect, but I know I can't be perfect. But I strive for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know as long as we in this market or in this demographic of people or whatever you want to call them, it's going to take work, my nigga. It's going to take real fucking work. Real work. Niggas gotta keep working. Like, niggas gotta keep fucking working. You ain't where you want to be yet. It look good because you might get a nigga that might DM you and say, comment a fucking birthday cake emoji. Then you go into this nigga page and you seen 100 birthday cakes emojis. Not because he just posted that shit and niggas genuinely wanted to post 100 birthday cake. He asked you to. So the nigga might not even really have the following that it appears to be. I call bullshit on that shit every single time. Because I get DMs like that. My nigga repost this for me. My nigga comment this, that, and the third for me. No, I'm not commenting shit. Keep fucking working. Keep fucking working.
Before we close out, any
Ain't no closing out, my nigga. Hold on. Because that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm building this fucking platform and I'm building this shit organically. What you see is what you fucking get. I ain't asking nobody to repost shit. I'm not reposting when niggas is reposting. Why? Why am I sharing what niggas is sharing? For what? To show niggas that niggas fuck with me? No. Niggas fuck with me. The thing about it, my nigga, I think for me, niggas fuck with me all my life. So it's not a thing to show people that people fuck with me. You either gonna fuck with me or you don't. If you don't, somebody gonna fuck with me and they gonna push it, and then somebody else might fuck with me. I'm not gonna force you to fuck with me, and I'm not gonna show you that people fuck with me. I'm not gonna ask you to post no shit or repost. I never did that in my life. Because once you get to a certain point where people genuinely are showing you love, that feeling is way more rewarding to me. To me, this is my honest opinion. That feeling is way more rewarding than asking Jano to post a Liquor with Friends post on his story. I'm not asking you to do that. Cause it don't mean nothing. It's like fucking Mario getting 100 coins and he getting an extra life. Like, I'm not asking you for no cheat code, my nigga. You just gonna fuck with it or you don't. So when you see this shit transition to what it is becoming, just know that shit was just work, my nigga. I just want niggas to work. Put in that fucking work, my nigga. Stop trying to. People are always trying to skip laps and skip the process. No, put in that fucking work. That's why I admire you so much, because you took the time to perfect your craft and you still have a lot of room for growth. But you ain't never asked me to post you or none of that shit. That's why I started fucking with you. You ain't never asked for shit. You ain't never asked for no handout. Because here's the thing. I don't take nobody ideas because people monetize off of ideas, right? So if I take a nigga idea who just want to pitch me, yo, you should start having bitches hanging out the sunroof, and I start having bitches hanging out the sunroof, and the shit blows up, and I ain't give him nothing for giving me that idea, he can be like, man, I was the one that told that nigga to start having bitches hanging out the sunroof. Then this nigga got a whole narrative and some bullshit he can make about me. Fuck that shit, my nigga. Do that shit yourself. Keep working, keep building, yo. I ain't... Yeah, man. Yo, keep fucking working, yo. You got... It's nothing wrong with the ladder. Like, yo, you gonna get to the ladder, my nigga. Like, you just gotta keep putting in that motherfucking work. Just like if you worked in a corporate... If you work in corporate America, my nigga, you not gonna get that promotion unless you sucking dick. You not gonna get no motherfucking promotion. And a lot of niggas is doing the... a lot of niggas is kind of sort of sucking dick. Kind of sort of. I'm not like, I hate, and I try not to be direct with it, but I try to send that message out to the young artists and even my peers. Like, yo, I put it out there. Like, I don't like when niggas DM me and ask me to comment or ask me to post some shit. Cause then niggas is looking at me like, let's just say the shit whack, and you ask my nigga, my brother, to post some shit, and that shit is whack. And I push that shit, nigga, like, nigga, I don't even trust your judgment no more. Now you fucking up my brand. Cause I'm fucking reposting some bullshit you asked me to post just because I fuck with you. No, I gotta like that shit. Cause I feel like my taste buds in music, my taste level is high. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a stickler for quality. My nigga, like, I'm not gonna post no bullshit. Then that's gonna fuck up my shit. That's gonna fuck up my stock. Cause I post some bullshit Shwaze put out.
You know I don't put out
I'm
no
not
bullshit.
gonna trust this Liquor with Friends shit no more. Cause this nigga be posting his homeboys and they putting out some bullshit. No, I'm not doing it. I love you to death. But if you put out some bullshit, I'm not posting that shit. I'm not gonna tell you it's bullshit, but if I'm not reposting that shit,
Then I know
just
it's
know
bullshit.
that I think it's bullshit.
You gonna tell you it's bullshit without saying bullshit.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, because I'm trying to build trust in my base, my fan base, my core base. No, I'm just doing a bunch of favors for niggas before I even get people to trust me. No, people don't think like that though. People don't think like that. No, the fuck no. I'm trying to tell you, I don't ever proclaim to be the realest motherfucker, but I see you. Like when I say shit like I see you, and if you ever see me say that shit to a nigga like, yo, I see you. It ain't about like I see you working. Like I'm literally saying like, my nigga, I understand what's going on. I follow you. But I'ma hold you accountable. When I say I see you, that I'm holding you accountable. I'm not no. I'm not no, yo. That's my Instagram, yo. A lot of niggas, and then what you gonna run into, because I'm cool with you or I'm cool with them, niggas have this false sense of entitlement. And that's another thing that you might run into coming up and shit. Niggas that came up with you or niggas that know that you fuck with them want to start doing the shit that you do. They gonna feel like, all right, well, nigga, like, yo, you here now. Like, nigga, I'm doing music too. Like, posting out, yo, woo, woo. No. Fuck no, my nigga. I am no. Yo, let's just say if I refer some motherfuckers to a bonefish and they got some bang bang shrimp, and I'm telling them like, yeah, this shit is fire, and they get some bullshit ass plate and the layers of the bang bang shrimp falling off, and this shit all mustardy and mayonnaise is just sliding and shit. They gonna look at me like I'm crazy. That's why when niggas be posting shit on Instagram, right, and they just be like this, and they tag that homeboy, they ain't fucking feeling that shit. They doing a favor. You can tell if the nigga rapping this shit word for word, then they literally fuck with that shit. When niggas just like, life is a feeling process, my nigga. You can feel when this shit is genuine or not. Come on, yo.
That's
Yeah, I'm done, yo.
That's facts.
I'm done, yo. I can't stand this shit.
Closing out, any other shout outs?
Shout out to Shwaze, Kylan, Verse, and Mac. Yeah. For real? So he want to be an introvert. And his whole introvert shit.
It's your boy,
I'm
Shwaze.
dead. I'm done.
This is After Work, Season 4, Episode 2. We out.
Yeah.
White bitches for the winter. I smoked an ounce of marijuana with my niggas. Pockets filled with dollar bills, now I'm richer. I hope Jesus grabbed the wheel and this liquor. I'm about to let this bitch go. Go. Life's been moving fast. I've been on the low, blowing grass. Shit's been getting ugly like the bitches in my past. I can push 100 with the re-up in the stash. Liquor in the flask, of course it's Honey Jack. I hate waiting, bitch, I ain't patient. I'm with my niggas playing Madden on the PlayStation. And I don't fuck with you at all if you hate the Ravens. I'm like, this could be us, but you stay playing. That's just the funny from my mental. I'm killing these instrumentals. Put rappers on the menu. That's the shit that I'm into. And I'm living niggas' dreams, but I ain't even begin to. Hope this song don't offend you. I'm about to finally end you. White bitches for the winter. I smoked an ounce of marijuana with my niggas. Pockets filled with dollar bills, now I'm richer. I hope Jesus grabbed the wheel and this liquor. I'm about to let this bitch go.